Medieval knights, noble warriors, shining armor, heroic quests. Except the armor gave you heat stroke, the quests were basically war crimes, and you probably died from an infected leg wound at 32. Okay, so everyone thinks being a medieval knight was awesome. Movies show us gallant warriors. Video games make it look epic. Renaissance fairs make it seem romantic. The reality? Being a knight was expensive, painful, and you spent most of your time either bored or terrified. Let's break down why this dream job was actually kind of a nightmare. First, you don't just become a knight. It takes like 15 years of training. You start at age 7. 7. Your parents send you to another noble's castle to become a page. You're basically a servant who occasionally learns sword fighting. You serve food, you clean armor, you run messages, you learn etiquette. Oh, and you train, constantly. Sword practice, horse riding, wrestling, running in armor. From age 7 to 14, this is your life. Then, at 14, you become a squire. Now you're a knight's personal assistant. You maintain his armor, you care for his horses, you follow him into battle and hand him weapons. If he dies, you might die too, or get captured, or just be out of a job. You do this until you're 21. If you survive and have enough money, you finally become a knight. That's 14 years of unpaid internship in the Middle Ages, where medicine doesn't exist and everyone has dysentery. All right, you're finally a knight. Congratulations! Now you need armor. Full plate armor costs about as much as a car today. If you can afford it, great. Now you get to wear 50 to 60 pounds of metal for hours. It's hot. In summer, you're basically in a metal oven. Heat stroke is common. It's heavy. Yes, it's distributed across your body, but it's still exhausting. It's restrictive. You can't scratch your face. You can't wipe sweat. If you need to pee, good luck. And if you fall off your horse, you're stuck on your back like a turtle until someone helps you up. Oh, and the helmet? Limited vision, can barely hear. Breathing is difficult. You're basically fighting in a sensory deprivation tank. Also, armor doesn't make you invincible. Arrows can still pierce weak points. Blunt weapons can break bones through the metal. And if you get knocked unconscious, you might suffocate in your own helmet. Fun times. You need a warhorse. Not just any horse, a warhorse. These cost a fortune, like mortgage your castle levels of money. And they require constant care. Food, grooming, training, medical attention. If your horse dies in battle, you're broke. And probably also dead because you're now on foot in full armor. Horses also panic. They get scared of loud noises. They throw you off. They step on you. And if you're charging into battle and your horse decides, nah, I don't think so, you're going alone. Or not at all. Also, riding in armor for hours is agonizing. Chafing, back pain, saddle sores. Knights weren't gracefully gliding into battle. They were grimly enduring hours of painful horseback riding while sweating inside a metal suit. Okay, battle time. Movies show elegant sword fights, honorable duels, clean deaths. Real medieval combat? Absolute chaos. You can't see well, you can't hear well. You're exhausted before the fighting even starts. Someone swings a mace at your head. You try to block, but your arm is tired. You take a hit. Your armor dents inward. Your skull is intact, but you've got a concussion, and possibly internal bleeding. You're on the ground. Someone stabs you in the armpit, one of the few unarmored spots. You survive. Barely. The wound gets infected because medieval medicine is pray about it and maybe use leeches. You die 2 weeks later from sepsis. That's how most knights died. Not heroically in battle, from infections afterward. Oh, and if you don't die, you might be captured and held for ransom. If your family can't pay, you're a prisoner indefinitely, or they kill you anyway. War crime? Not in the Middle Ages. That's just Tuesday. When there's no war, knights do tournaments. Sounds fun, right? Except people died. Regularly. Jousting was full contact at high speed. Lances shattered. Knights broke bones. Some got impaled. King Henry II of France died in a jousting accident. A splinter went through his eye into his brain. That's the risk every time. And melee tournaments? Just organized violence. Multiple knights fighting at once. People got trampled, stabbed. The church tried to ban tournaments multiple times because too many nobles were dying. Didn't work. Knights kept doing them anyway. Because if you're not fighting in wars, you need to stay in practice. And also prove you're tough. Toxic masculinity. Let's talk money. Being a knight is expensive. Armor, horse, weapons, squire's wages, horse care, armor maintenance. Many knights went into debt. Serious debt. Your only income is your land. If you don't have much land, you're struggling. So you take on mercenary work. You fight for whoever pays. Or you go on crusades hoping to get rich from plunder. Spoiler, most crusaders didn't get rich. They died of disease in the desert. Some knights turned to banditry, became highway robbers, because they needed money and had weapons training. The noble knight thing was propaganda. Many were just armed thugs with good PR. You're not only a warrior, but a political pawn. Your lord can summon you to war. You have to go. That's the deal. Don't want to? Treason. They take your land. Maybe kill you. And feudal politics were brutal. Your lord might rebel against the king. You have to fight for him, even if you think it's a bad idea. If he loses, you lose everything. Your land, your title, your life. If he wins, great. Until the next rebellion. Medieval politics was just constant betrayal and switching sides. You couldn't opt out. You couldn't retire. This was your life until you died, which, again, was probably around age 35 if you were lucky. When you're not fighting, what are you doing? Sitting in a castle, which is cold, drafty, and smells terrible. No heating except fireplaces. No plumbing. No privacy. You eat the same food constantly. Meat, bread, more bread. Vegetables are for peasants. You get scurvy and gout and probably parasites. Entertainment is limited. You can hunt, you can drink, you can listen to a bard. That's about it. No books unless you're rich and educated. No hobbies, really. Just waiting for the next war. Your life is either terrifying combat or soul-crushing boredom. There's no in between. Let's address the elephant in the room. Medieval hygiene was not great. You bathed maybe a few times a year. Water was considered dangerous to health. Your armor traps sweat. You're in it for hours, sometimes days. The smell is unimaginable. You get rashes, infections, lice, fleas, and everyone else smells too, so it's just normalized. Deodorant won't exist for another 500 years. Cologne helps, but only masks the problem. Also, toilets are just holes in castle walls that drop into moats. You're literally sitting over open air doing your business. In winter, freezing. In summer, flies everywhere. Medieval castles smelled like sweat, smoke, animal waste, and human waste. You just lived with it.
The Catholic Church ran everything in medieval Europe. And they had opinions about violence. You're a knight. Your job is killing people. But killing is a sin. The Church's solution? It's okay to kill if it's for God. Hence the Crusades. thousands of knights went. Most died of disease, not combat. But even outside crusades, you're expected to be both a warrior and a good Christian. You confess constantly, you do penance, you donate to the church, and you still worry you're going to hell because you've killed a lot of people. Medieval knights had anxiety about this. Some became monks later in life, hoping to buy their way into heaven. Religion and warfare, medieval cognitive dissonance. Here's the thing movies don't show. Not all knights were heroes. Many were violent, entitled, and cruel. They abused peasants. They looted villages. They assaulted women. The code of chivalry? Mostly propaganda. It applied to how you treated other nobles. Peasants didn't count. Some knights were genuinely honorable, but many were just armed thugs with titles. And the system protected them because they were essential to feudal power. So yeah, knights weren't the romantic heroes we imagine. They were complicated, often violent people trapped in a brutal system. Some tried to be good, some didn't bother. Most just tried to survive. So yeah, being a medieval knight sucked in a lot of ways. Expensive armor, constant danger, terrible hygiene, moral guilt, and probably dying young from an infected wound. But hey, you got a cool title and a horse, so worth it? If you want more reality checks on historical dream jobs that were actually nightmares, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and be grateful you weren't born into feudalism. Seriously.